So we were talking a while ago about this, and you brought up something. You brought up an interesting term. You brought up human design and what we're doing every day. I'm really fascinated by this. Tell me in detail what you mean by human design and what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong.
Right. So the whole concept of the human design is that you think about how we were designed. Whatever it is that you think created us or how we were created, we really are doing nothing now currently in our current life that we were designed to do. In fact, we're doing everything the opposite.
You mean to tell me sitting in front of a plasma TV and eating popcorn was not...
Probably not.
We were not designed to do this.
Probably not.
Okay.
No, probably not. As much as sometimes I enjoy doing that myself, and it's okay with LifeMod. We just weren't designed to do that from the very beginning. Let me just actually start with our food choices. Go back 7,000, 8,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, whatever you want to go back, as far as you want to go back. What we did to get our food is that, most of the time it was men who would go and hunt that mammoth down. We would have our spears, we would have our whatever it was, and we would run after our food. That was how we were designed to be. We were supposed to go after our food. We were supposed to squat and gather food when we're gathering berries and all that. We were supposed to stretch out and try to get, apple from the tree. We were supposed to run after our animals and hunt them down. We were also supposed to not eat 3 square meals a day. We were supposed to we fast sometimes, which is, we can talk about intermittent fasting and how big of a believer I am in that. That's very controversial, by the way. This whole concept of you must eat breakfast, you have to eat breakfast, is bogus. I don't believe in that at all. But just back again for the human design. Now we sit in front of a TV or a computer before we go to bed. That light is blue light. That blue light stimulates our amygdala and our brain system. And so now we're not going to sleep very well. We're not providing good, restful REM sleep, or what we call REM sleep. We sit at a desk everywhere all the time and type. Our butt wasn't supposed to be sitting. We're supposed to be squatting constantly, which is why the concept of standing desks is very in vogue right now. Kind of what we do for our offices is we have standing desks for people. Everything, the food intake that we're talking about food that we have no idea where it came from.
Yeah.
Consider this, as we were talking about, to imagine before. Right now, if you go out and buy chicken breasts at any store right now, do you have any idea where that came from?
Not a clue.
No one knows.
Not a clue.
We have nobody asks, and I don't understand why that or when we got to that point where we just eat whatever we buy. We don't question where that came from. I'll tell you something very very surprising. If you go to the grocery store right now and you buy chicken breasts from the store, 9 times out of 10, those chicken breasts are bigger than they ever have been. And visually you think, oh my God, I'm getting big chicken breasts. I'm getting a great deal. The problem is that those chicken breasts are big because they came from a farm where the chickens, when they were alive, were given hormones to get bigger. Now, those hormones are synthetic hormones. Those chickens were raised in a coop that was really small. So those chickens were not exercising, higher fat content. The chickens were given hormones, bigger breasts, but all these, and pesticides. So we're now putting that into our mouths. And that had never happened before. When we were 10,000 years ago, we were chasing down that natural animal.
And we don't know what the long-term effect of eating like that is going to be.
Right.
I mean, you need to eat like that consistently, multiple generations, 2-3 generations, to see the outcome of this.
Right.
We don't know what the outcome is going to be because this is a new concept over the last, 50 years.
Absolutely. And I'll argue that we are starting to see the ramifications of this, even in a short period of time. And you're absolutely right. The long-term effect of this, I have no idea what that's going to be. But I also think that we're sort of at a crossroads with everyone, especially here in America. You're starting to hear grass-fed beef. You're starting to hear free-range chicken. You're starting to hear free-range eggs. You're starting to hear pesticide-free. All these terms that are really attractive, and I think this is our mission in life. This is my mission in life, is to say to people, this is who you are, know thyself, as we talked about earlier. And also, let's go back to what we were intended to do. Movement, exercise more, move more, walk more, up and down stairs more, squat
and you're not
more.
telling people to go to the gym and lift weights and run on a treadmill. You're saying
I'm not telling them
do
at
a little
all.
bit more.
I'm not telling them at all. In fact, I'm glad you brought that up. I'll take a really good example about that. Running, for example, is not what we were meant to do. I love to run. I have ran
Long
a
distance
few
running.
marathons. Yeah, I think I told you I ran the New York City Marathon last year. I'm running it again this year. The problem is that actually is not healthy. This is not a design. I'm also I'm doing things that I'm not supposed to be doing, and that's like the running the marathon.
Much like everybody. I mean,
Everybody
everybody does that.
But if we're cognizant of what we're supposed to be doing in our human design, and we try to strive to do something like that every single day, we invariably become a more holistic and more healthy in society and person for sure. But I think it's so exciting to be alive right now because something is gonna have to give. We have the highest obesity rates in the world. We have the highest diabetes. Diabetes is an epidemic. I've diagnosed 4-year-olds.
Juvenile diabetes is a major epidemic
Huge.
happening. And people don't understand why that's happening. Why are kids at age 4, 5 being diagnosed with diabetes?
Right.
How is that happening? Well, you have to look at what they're eating. Not
Exactly.
how much they're eating, but what they're eating.
Exactly. What they're eating and the amount of time that they're spending playing and moving. They don't. We have everything inside. They're playing video games. They're being fed Coke. They're being fed exactly what you just said. It's an epidemic. Epidemic on obesity. Epidemic on in fact, I'll tell you, the amount of, before I used to be overweight, the classification, then it became obese. Then there was morbidly obese. And now we have another term called the supersize, which are people who have BMIs that are higher than like 45, where these people are huge. We've never really had these categories up until very recently. So something's got to give. And I think, if we are here, if I am here, if LifeMod is here, and we're trying to tell people, let's go back to the human design. That's the big thing of what we do. Part of the program is we always tell people, you got to go back to the human design. First of all, know exactly where your food is coming from, move more, and be cognizant of your life. And people, I think we're at a crossroads for sure. Something's gonna give, and I think this is a good thing. We can't get worse.